Should you stop going to church because you're afraid that ICE will arrest you at church? Let's talk about this one, guys. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. Reach out to us so that we could look at your immigration case to see how we might be able to assist you. Guys, before you go today, do me the favor, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss these updates each week. Now let's talk about this fear that a lot of people have about being arrested at church. First of all, friends, who is ICE targeting these days? They are targeting individuals with criminal convictions, individuals with a final order of removal who are still in the United States, and then thirdly, individuals who arrived in the United States over the last 2 years under the various Biden parole border programs. If you do not fit into one of these three buckets at this time, you are not high risk for detention or deportation. However, ICE has said that while they are out there conducting their civil enforcement activities and you, undocumented individual, happens to be there and you're caught up, you're a collateral arrest, right? They didn't intentionally target you. However, because you're here without papers or status, they will arrest you nonetheless. This explains many of the videos that we see on TikTok and YouTube of individuals being arrested who do not have a criminal record. The other thing that many people do not know is potentially that individual who was arrested, they might have a removal order. So you never know what's really going on when you watch those short video clips. Now, let's talk about the churchgoer or the individual who goes to mass or the mosque or a church, right? Whatever that religious institution is. Should you be afraid of showing up every week? The short answer is no. And here's why. If ICE already knows your name, your home address, and some other details about you in order to target you. And they also learn that, oh, by the way, he or she goes to such and such Baptist church or Catholic church. Let's just forget about going to the home. Let's forget about going to their job site. Let's go to the church instead. Well, it's very rare for them to make that leap or that decision to target you at the church versus your home or versus your job. They already know those details about you. Now, if they do try to target an individual at a church, most likely it's going to be in the parking lot. It's going to be outside of the church. It's going to be a scenario in which they are waiting until you come out or you arrive in order to apprehend you. We've heard only one story so far that is verifiable of an individual, a man who was at a church service with his family, and ICE was waiting for him in the parking lot of the church to arrest him. He had an ankle monitor that was placed on him by ICE to track his whereabouts, so they knew that he was at church, but they did not go into the service and disrupt the service. The monitor, from what I understand through the press, the monitor went off while he was in the service. And when he came out, left the building, that's when they arrested him and took him to the detention center. So friends, that's the one story that is verifiable that I've heard so far. We have not gotten any calls from individuals saying that they were arrested at church or ICE showed up at their church. Not to say that, it might not be happening. It's just that we haven't heard about it happening, and certainly it hasn't happened to any of our clients. Keep in mind, again, if ICE knows that you go to a particular church, they also know a whole lot more about you. And it would be easier to apprehend you through other means than a church service. But ultimately, I know that the decision about whether or not to continue going to church will be your decision. It's going to be based on your comfort level, certainly. But I just wanted to add some additional perspective to this to inform you that you might not even be the target, number one, and then number two, they are carrying out their enforcement activities primarily in other places. Historically, ICE respected certain sensitive locations like churches, schools, and hospitals, where the agency had a policy in place that said that they will not conduct their civil enforcement activities in or around those sensitive areas unless there was some sort of emergency, they were chasing a dangerous criminal, or some exigent circumstance would require them to go into that location and conduct their law enforcement activities there. That had been a long-standing policy until January, when the Trump administration revoked that policy. I'm sure you've heard stories, the days of undocumented individuals taking sanctuary in the basement of a church. Those days are behind us under this administration. They will not allow individuals who they are targeting to hide out in a church and the church be the sanctuary of that individual. ICE has said they will not allow their hands to be tied in that regard any longer. I think when they revoked this sensitive locations policy, friends, it was really to send a message to people that they should not do that. They should not seek to use a church as a building that will provide them with the sanctuary, because ICE is just not going to come to that church and go in and arrest them. They want to send that message. I think that was the real intent here, to send that message. I hope this perspective is helpful to you guys. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on it. Again, do not be afraid. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.